miraculous future. So if you like at this point, please just, we talked this morning about getting into that present moment to open up our minds, and open up our hearts, our ears for listening. So just take a few breaths. Just reach down, relax. Thank you. And here's something fun to contemplate from the ancient Hermetics that comes from ancient Greece. Their first principle tells us that the mind is the source of all reality. There really isn't a reality out there. We don't see the world as it is. We see the world as we are. We're making it up as we go along. We really are. So now I have the joy and pleasure of introducing Kat Thompson today. Kat's been with us for at least 10 years. I've seen her speak many times, and it's always uplifting, always informational, always actionable. And we really appreciate you being here and doing that for us so much. If you promise to pay close attention, Kat's going to help illuminate us on how to live in awe and wonder. Kat has 25 years in the emotional intelligence field and almost, do you want me to say it?
Sure.
50 years, do the math. But you don't need to. In film and advertising, and with a passion for emotional evolution. A lifetime of writing has taught Kat that the stories we tell ourselves and others become our legacy, and that stories have the power to enrage us, engage us, inspire us to action, and create our world. So Kat, we can't wait.
Take
it away. Thank you.
Good morning. It's good to see familiar faces and good to see some new faces too. I have to admit that this was probably the toughest topic I've been assigned in all the time that I've been speaking here. You know, Gary will send us a thing and say, you know, are you willing to speak in this month? And I pick my day and then I go, what's the topic? And maybe I should ask first, what's the topic, before I'm so willing to jump in and take a date. So the topic for this month was living in awe, and I was like, wow, okay, when was the last time I felt awe? How often do I see people around me feeling awe? So I kind of did this informal survey of people that I knew, you know, what makes you feel awe? And over 95% of the answers had to do with nature. So that was really interesting. And if you didn't get a handout, there are some at the back if you don't have one. I like to hand out what I'm going to talk about so that people can look at it afterwards. So one of the things I like to do is I really like to look up the dictionary definition of words. And so I thought, well, what is the dictionary definition of awe? And I found three things. An emotion variously combining dread, veneration, and wonder. Okay, now think about that. Simultaneously dread and wonder. Yikes. That's inspired by authority or by the sacred or sublime. I was very struck with the fact that authority was put before the sacred, because it feels to me like one of the things that's been happening very quickly in the past 50 years is that we are losing our awe of authority because authority doesn't deserve it. And that means we have to go back to nature and what's sacred. Those are the things that are left, right? The second explanation was an overwhelming feeling of reverence, admiration, fear, etc., produced by that which is grand, sublime, or extremely powerful. So again, awe is really being put with this idea of dread or fear. And it's true that real awe, there is a sense of fear of the unknown or a dread or something, because it's so big, it's so grand, it's so outside of our normal experience. And finally, this is an archaic explanation, the power to inspire fear or reverence. Archaic meaning antiquated. So I find it really interesting that awe, which used to belong to authority, not because it was, awe used to belong to authority because particularly religious institutions and government institutions had information that we didn't have, had information about how the world worked, or information that we thought they had about how things worked, right? So you're the spiritual guru, you're the person who knows how to talk to God. I can't do that, therefore I have awe for you. And it seems like as the institutions are losing their credibility and their integrity, and we're pulling our awe out of there, they're resorting to fear. It is a nonstop fear bath right now, you know? Like, you can't go 10 minutes without the next thing slamming into you. Be afraid. Be very afraid. There's a billboard in St. Paul I see often when I'm driving, and it says, the next, the word will come to me. It's like the next thing is coming, get ready. But the word they use is like the next, I wish I could I should have taken a picture of it, but I was driving. Anyway, the next bad thing is coming is basically what the billboard says. And I'm like, why is that on the highway? Really? Do you need to have that out there? Like, what kind of a message are you trying to tell people? Why don't you want to give people inspiration and help uplift them and help them to visualize and dream and believe in the better parts of humanity instead of constantly bombarding us with the fear about the worst of the humanity and basically telling us that we are the worst of humanity and that we can't achieve the best. And I think there's a reason. I think there's a reason why people who live in awe, people who can feel awe, are able to discern truth quite easily. And so I'm going to talk a lot about that. How do you discern truth? Feelings can only happen in a physical body. It's one reason why having a physical body is so awe-inspiring. Because as a spirit, you can't feel. You don't have feelings in a spiritual body. You have feelings in a physical body. So the less we inhabit our body through screens, distractions, addictions, books, social media, the less our ability to feel anything. And feelings are information that comes from the environment through our body. And so it's part of our job to understand what feelings are trying to tell us about the environment around us. And if you're being bombarded with fear 24/7, what happens? We start to close down our receptive centers. Because who wants to feel fear nonstop? And when you start to close down your receptive centers, you stop taking in information from the environment, and you can no longer discern what's true. And that's one of the ways that authority is looking to get your awe back. They're looking to get that energy back from you by putting themselves in a position of authority. And if you're not in your body, it's very hard for you to say, yeah, that doesn't feel right. Something's not right about that for me. So we're purposely being bombarded with an overload of stimuli, knowing that it will cause discomfort. That's because when we open our bodies to feeling, and how many people have had this experience when you sit down in meditation and you start to get in touch with your body and you get flooded with discomfort? Anybody had that experience? It is uncomfortable to feel what's waiting there, right? And I see my patterns all the time when I sit down to actually do any of my own work, that the first thing I do is I get distracted. Oh, I'll start doing yoga, and then it'll be like, oh, I need to do this. And I just keep walking away, and then I go, no, get back there. And it's amazing to watch myself for like 45 minutes, start and then move away, start and then go over here, start and get distracted. It's like, you don't want to feel what's in here. Why don't you want to feel what's in here? Because if I feel what's in there, one of the first things I'm going to find is I'm going to find the places that I have acted out of integrity, and I don't want to look at those. Because I have shame, because I have guilt, because I don't want to deal with it. So I believe it's kind of human nature to want to avoid that feeling of discomfort, but I think it's become weaponized. that because it is human nature, because we know that if you make people feel uncomfortable really being fully in their body, that they lose personal power, then there's an opportunity for that to be taken advantage of. Personal power is the thing that keeps you safe. Personal power is the thing that comes when you're fully engaged in your body and you can feel your way through the world. You can feel your truth. You can feel what's right. You can feel the right thing to do every single moment of the day. And it's something for those of us who love to have structure. So it's like 9:10, I'm going to do this. 9:20, I'm going to do this. 9:30, I'm going to do this, right? And then that day comes and you don't feel like doing any of that. Your body's like, no, that's not how it works. I want to get up at 9:00 and tell you what I feel like doing when. And that's pretty much how I live my life. I really have learned to let my body tell me the rhythm of the day. And it tells me by being energized by the things that I would like to do and being tired by thinking about the things that I want myself to do, but don't necessarily feel energized at that moment. And I've learned that I can put things off for a great long time, and then one day suddenly I'll be super energized to do that thing, and it will take me a fraction of the time to complete it. Because my body's taking in information from the environment and it is telling me this is the right time for you to do that. Yesterday at 4 o'clock was not the right time. I don't care if that's when you had a break in your schedule. That was not the right time to do it. And sometimes my body says, I'm not doing anything today. We're reading a good book today. Get yourself comfy, go sit in the lawn chair, grab a bottle of water. We're reading a book today. I've had to really struggle with, because when I was in the film business, you pushed until you were done. There was no stopping. You had a project, you had to start it, and you had to finish it on a certain date, and there was no stopping because you were tired or you didn't feel good or anything. And in the film industry, one of the most amazing things to me, people never got sick until the job was over because you didn't have time to get sick. And that was something that I really thought about in my 20s and 30s when I was first moving through that industry was, wow, when you don't have time to get sick and you love what you're doing, you don't get sick. That's interesting. So, how do we learn, how do we take steps towards unpacking what is being held inside the body? And most of us are carrying trauma from our childhoods, trauma from our teenage years or young adult years, trauma that's been unresolved. And so oftentimes when you sit down to do any sort of physical meditation work, you run into trauma immediately because it wants to come out. And the thing that I've learned about trauma is this: if we don't go meet it, it will come looking for us in our life. And what it will do is it will set up situations that mimic your original trauma, and it will continue to re-traumatize you over and over and over until you figure out what the root core of your trauma is, and then you can address it. So it's almost like trauma becomes a magnet, and if we are not complete with that trauma, if we haven't healed it, it will continue to attract the same energy that will trigger us into the same feelings so that we can change them. And that's one of the great things about, for me, doing emotional evolution work is if you know how to hear what your body's saying and then you know how to process those emotions, personal power is very quickly achieved. So, I read this, this book came into my, of course, last week I was like, what am I going to write about? What am I going to talk about? Living in awe. How do you live in awe? Because again, so many people were like, oh, it was when I was at the Grand Tetons, or when I was, diving, or when I was, and I'm like, yes, but what if you can't afford to do that? What if you can't go to a magnificent place? What if you're living in the inner city and there isn't even a tree on your street? Where do you find awe in those kinds of situations? So all of a sudden in my feed came this book, which I immediately bought, called The Biology of Wonder, Aliveness, Feeling, and the Metamorphosis of Science. And one of the first things I read in there was biological science has tried to separate emotions from nature since the 19th century. I was like, wow, that's so true. Why would they do that? Why would they try to separate emotions from nature? Think about how we're told that animals don't have feelings because they don't have a soul. Plants don't have feelings. Spiders don't have feelings. Nothing has feelings except humans. And we're basically told, your feelings are something to kind of keep under wrap. Here's your limited expression of feelings that's tolerated by the culture, and anything other than that. And is it any wonder that we see people acting crazy today? Like crazy. Some days I'm just, my jaw's on the floor watching stuff that's happening and how crazy people are acting out. And it's like, that's because when you try to repress emotion, it will always find a way out. And if it's not going to be expressed by the owner, it will go to the closest person who will express it out. And this is one of the things I teach parents. If you are repressing anger, you can be sure your kids are going to act it out for you. Anger will always come back to its original source, and it doesn't feel good when it comes back to you from another person. So lately I've been teaching rage work to individual clients because they're asking for it. They're saying, I have so much anger, how do I deal with it? So I've been teaching them how to do rage work and how to take that feeling of intense anger and express it in a sacred way so that it changes into personal power and it doesn't go out looking for anything to hurt or any other way to be expressed. And you keep it within your own field. So I had this question, like, why has there been so much pressure to repress emotion, to repress feelings? Like, why? Who does that serve? Anybody got any answers? Who would it serve for us to hold it all in, hold it all together? It would serve the structures of power. Because people who are emotionally astute and emotionally fluid are very powerful people. And they can tell bullshit in an instant. They know when they're being lied to. They know when they're being where manipulation is being brought in. They know they can feel the truth for themselves of their own truth immediately. And so it's not good for structures of authority to have a lot of the population standing in power. And now we're seeing a global effort to make people powerless. And it is time for us to stand up, take our anger, and transform it. And I talk about anger because it is really the quickest transformation, but it's also the most powerful transformation of all the emotions. Anger is our personal power. It's our warrior. It's the thing that keeps us safe. It's the thing that is able to discern the truth immediately, and it is the thing that allows you to take the correct action for yourself. Right action comes from evolved anger. Evolved anger is never angry. You guys have heard me say this before, those of you who've heard me speak. I've probably said this 100 times. Angry anger is immature anger. Angry anger says this: we are walking in a victim paradigm where I'm the victim and I'm powerless, and I don't like it. And then when you do sacred expression of rage, and you move it, and you get your aha moment, the aha moment that comes from immature anger is this. Immature anger expressed in a sacred way steps over to mature anger, which lives in co-creation. And you go, oh, now I see how I was co-creating that. I was not a victim, I was a co-creator. And I see that my co-creation was being done completely unconsciously because of some earlier trauma. I don't have to do that anymore. Now that I know that, I can change that. I can watch for that pattern, and the next time it shows up, I don't have to act like this. I can act like this. That is such an empowering place to be. Has anybody had that experience of just having that moment? Raise your hands if you've had that experience of realizing that you were co-creating your own victimization. It's incredibly powerful to feel that. And then it's even more powerful to dismantle it so that you can no longer be victimized, right? So, as I was writing this, I was like, well, this is all well and good. This is all very intellectual and stuff. So let's take it into the physical body, all right? So I'm going to give you some examples of how to understand what your body's telling you. So this little diagram on here, what you've got is your right side is your masculine side. That's your doing side. Your left side is your feminine side. That's your receiving side. So we got receiving and doing. Receiving, doing. From the head to the neck is thinking. From the neck to the waist is doing. From the waist to the feet is moving. So I'd like somebody who has a physical challenge, a physical complaint or a physical illness, who would be willing to come up and be walked through what the body might be saying. Is there anybody that would like to volunteer? Come on. Thank you. Okay. Do you want to take the microphone and then come on up here?
Sure.
And what is your name?
Joe.
Joe, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you very much for volunteering. All right, so describe your issue.
I can't breathe.
Okay, I can't breathe.
It's constant. No matter what I try, diet, everything, it just keeps.
All right, so your nose is permanently plugged.
Yeah, pretty much.
Permanently plugged.
I haven't smelled for 40 years.
Okay.
I mean, I smell plenty, but.
Okay. So let's just, using this diagram, simply using this diagram, what's going on up here? Thinking, okay. So thinking, right? And isn't thinking kind of the root of where we take action from? We think something and then we do it, right? Okay, so thinking is where this is settled. Let's also think about what the nose is for.
Smelling, breathing, tasting.
Okay. So, smelling, what happens when you smell something?
Well, it'll either be a really nice experience or a really bad experience.
Okay, so it's information from your environment, right?
Right.
It's very important information from your environment,
Yep.
okay? So you're blocked from receiving a specific
Smell.
kind of information from your environment.
Mhm.
Okay, and then what else? Breath?
Breath, yeah, it's.
Breath, so life, taking in life, there's a blockage of taking in life. So right now what we've got is thinking is creating a blockage of being able to take in certain kinds of information that allow for the vitality of life. Do you see how I got there?
Yes.
Does that make sense? Does that make sense
Yes.
to you? Okay.
Yes, it does.
So your homework is to journal what thoughts are preventing me from participating in life with full vitality.
Okay.
All right?
All right, I can do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, who's next? Come on. This is really fun. Who wants to go next? Come on up. Introduce yourself.
Mark.
All right, Mark, tell us what's going on. Okay, microphone.
My shoulder hurts.
Okay, which shoulder is it?
My right.
His right shoulder hurts. All right. All right, so just knowing that, what do we know looking at this? His right shoulder is hurting. So what side of the body is it? His masculine side is doing side. And where is it on the body? Is it in thinking, doing, or moving? So doing and doing double doing. His right shoulder is double doing, right? So, the first thing that I would ask him if he came into me with this issue is I would say, where are you blocking receiving? Because when receiving and doing are balanced, you don't have those issues. So the fact that doing and doing both is causing physical pain, there's a blockage going on the feminine side, the receiving side. Does that feel right?
I think so.
All right. So your homework will be to journal about where are you blocking receiving. All right?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Who's next? See, this is really easy. Come on up.
It dawned on me this is something icky, so.
What's your name?
Tammy,
Tammy. Hi, Tammy. Nice to meet you.
You
Thank you so
too.
much for coming up.
I have had eczema most of my life, but it comes and goes, and I can go like 5 years without any of it, and it came back with a vengeance about a year ago, and it's in my scalp, behind my ears, and now it climbed into my belly button, which sounds really weird, but it drives me absolutely bonkers.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, I don't know how or when, but it just all of a sudden I wake up one morning and it's gone.
Okay. Have you noticed anything prior to an appearance that's different in your life, like a specific kind of a stressor or something abrupt happening that shocks you?
There were a couple things.
Okay. So it is like a shock to the body and then it appears?
But then it doesn't go away.
No, but we're just talking about what
Okay.
makes it come. So is it a shock to the body, something abrupt happening, and then that comes?
I don't know.
You don't know, okay. So that'd be something I would ask you to pay attention to. Like when because can you start to feel it before it actually erupts?
Yeah.
Do you get any sense of it coming?
It picks a small area, and then I'm like, ooh, that's itchy,
Okay,
and then
all right.
within a couple months,
Okay.
it just explodes in a certain spot. And
Okay. So what do we know about behind the head? It's the thinking, right? Now here's another interesting thing that's not on here. The front of the body is the conscious, the back of the body is the subconscious. So it's coming in the back of the head. So subconscious thinking. There's subconscious thinking, which generally means a pattern of thought that you were given as a child that does not serve you, and it needs to be brought into the conscious mind to be able to be released. Okay? So when you get that first hint that something's coming, I would ask you to start to journal. What thoughts do I have that are not serving me? What beliefs do I carry that are not serving me? And it will probably be something when you first notice that sensation, what's happening in your life right then? Are you having a pattern that's repeating itself with a relationship or something that's there'll be some sort of repetitive pattern, and that's where that belief system is hidden. So start to track that, because your body's giving you plenty of time to sleuth it. It's only going to erupt when you don't get the message. When you don't get the message, the body takes it up a notch, and then it takes it up a notch, and then it takes it up a notch, right? So you want to catch it when you get the first hints of it. Your body will give you lots and lots of time to do the research, okay? Does that make sense?
It does.
Does that feel right?
It does.
All right, let's talk about the navel.
Okay. That just happened.
Okay, what do we know about the navel? With what we've just learned, what do we know about the navel? Doing and what else? Conscious. Conscious doing. There is a conscious pattern that's probably connected to the unconscious belief. And this conscious pattern is hurting you. So, okay, now you're getting emotional, aren't you?
Well, because Yeah, you're nailing it.
Okay, so
Okay,
when you get
just-
emotional, you're hitting the truth. So just let it come. When you're feeling that emotion, that means you're getting to the truth. So you know what I'm talking about? Okay, very good. Then we don't have to go any further.
Okay.
All right, so you know what your homework is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming up and sharing. Let's give her a hand. That was very courageous. All right, we got 10 more minutes. Come on. We got time for everybody to do this. Really? Yay! Hi, what's your name?
Mark.
Mark. Hi, Mark.
Hi.
What is your physical issue?
Well, I like to think I don't have any, but normally, just a little background, I get together with my son every Monday night for dinner. And this year I've developed a 36-hour fasting regime.
Okay.
So I usually, after that dinner, I just consume water until I have breakfast Wednesday morning. And I probably do this 3/4 of the weeks during the year so far. About 2 weeks ago, I was fasting on that Tuesday, and the night between Tuesday and Wednesday, I developed this incredible pain down here on my right side,
Okay.
down in the kind of the lower, probably the colon area or whatever, and it's kind of gone now. And I didn't know if it was like something viral, something I ate, got a parasite, whatever, or whatever it is, but it's kind of been healing. So,
Okay, thank you. Okay, lots to unpack here. First thing, thank you, and we're going to unpack it. The first thing that I would like to say is, do not make the mistake of thinking that something from the environment is attacking your body. That does not happen. Any pain or illness that you feel is the body compensating for something. Your body is this most incredible healing machine. It's not a machine. It's this most incredible healing, organic healing device, right? And so the flu, for example, and viruses, for example, are how the body detoxes. You know, when you have too many toxins that have been taken in from the environment, your body goes, we're going down for 3 days, drink a lot of water, eat some soup, and read a lot of books, and don't plan anything. And of course, because we're embedded in this Western society that says you can't be sick, you've got to be productive, take a pill, take a pill. Oh, it's the environment, it's a virus, it's a flu, it's a disease, it's a germ, it's a this, it's a that. No, it's not. It's just your body clearing itself out and cleaning itself out. So when you hear yourself say, it might be something I ate, no, but it might be something you thought, right? Or something that you took in emotionally. Or that some information that's coming into your body is being misunderstood. So let's talk about what we know about his pain on the right side. It's on the masculine side, so doing, and where is it in his body? Is it moving or is it doing? It's moving. Show me again where it was. Is it below your waist or above your waist?
Yeah, down here.
Okay, so he's saying it's right on his waist. So I'm going to say it's doing and moving. So we have doing, doing, moving. Doing, doing, moving. So the first thing that I would say, if you had come to me as a practitioner and said this story, and I got that bit of information, I would say to you, why are you fasting every week? What was the motivation behind that?
The motivation behind it, one is to lose weight.
Okay,
Two is I've been doing some reading, and it talks about how many great things happen when you
okay,
fast.
all right.
Like it's a cleansing process for
Right,
the body.
right. Okay, so his logical mind said, oh, I just read all this information, and it says if I fast every week, this will happen for me, and this will be good, and as a bonus, I'll get to lose some weight. All right, so what I would say to you as a practitioner is, did you ask your body if it wanted to fast every week?
We never had that conversation in my body.
Bingo. We never had that conversation with my body. Your body's telling you that something isn't right about the structure. It didn't have an opportunity to collaborate with you on detoxifying, rejuvenating, and losing weight. And it's telling you that there's a better way, but you have to talk to it first.
Okay.
So your homework is going to be to go home and journal with your body. If you can do it every day for just a few minutes. Good morning, body. I'm checking in with you today. Is there anything you'd like to tell me? And then you just sit and listen. And as time goes by, you'll get very good at being able to interpret what it is that the body is telling you. I would say that this pain is because your body was not part of the collaboration,
Okay.
and it would like to be.
Yes.
It'll give you everything you're looking for if you include it. Okay?
Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, who's next? Yay, come on up. She's like, oh, yes, okay. Come on up and tell us your name.
I'm Rochelle.
Rochelle? Yep, thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
All right, tell us your issue.
I have intermittent cramping in my feet.
Oh, okay, what do we know about the feet? Moving through life. And both of them? Oh boy, so we got masculine and feminine. Receiving and giving. Receiving and doing. Is giving on there? Yeah. Giving, receiving, and being. The feminine's also about being. It's about your ability to simply be in the moment. So be present, right? Okay, so being present, receiving, and then doing and giving is being blocked. You're not able to move forward because either something is happening on both sides. Okay, so are you feeling emotional? Oh,
It's been an emotional morning.
yes. Okay, well, so this means we're getting close to the truth. Do you have a sense of what I'm talking about? Is there something coming for you, a truth? Okay, so let's go a little bit deeper, because right now we're just working with very broad strokes of the pen. We're not really working. In my body language work, I can pinpoint every square inch of your body and be able to interpret this. So I'm just trying to give you a little bit so you can start with. But the feet, of course, are about how you move forward in life, right? And if the feet are cramping, what does cramping do? Is it a painful thing? Does it stop you from walking?
It's incredibly painful.
Incredibly painful. Okay, so this is a serious message now.
Yeah.
The messages that you've been given before did not get understood, so now the body has upped the ante. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what the messages prior to that might have been? Were there other indications in your feet that something was happening? Here's what I would say. If you came to me as a practitioner and this was all the information that we were going on, I would say that the direction you're going is not working for you. Because there's something, it's not working. It's simply the direction you're moving is not working. Does that make sense? Is there truth to that? Okay, good. All right. You feeling complete? Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much.
All right, we got time for one more. Who's going to be brave? Come on up. Isn't this fun? I love this stuff. Hi, what's your name?
My name is Joy.
Hi, Joy. Oh, of course. Look at her. Isn't this Joy? What's your issue?
My issue is with my neck.
Okay.
A lot of bone spurs, arthritis, everything.
All right, good. How many people are having neck problems? I thought about this on the drive here today. I was like, I wonder how many people in the audience are going to have issues with their neck. The neck has to do, besides what we know on the card, the neck has to do with being able to see in all directions. And we are being trained to look in only a very specific way at the world. All the stuff that we're bombarded with every single day is to force our attention into a specific way of looking at the world. And so the neck will start to hurt at that point because it says, that's not the way for you to view the world. There's more ways of looking at the world that are better equipped for you. Now, is there a specific side that is worse?
Probably my left.
Okay,
going
so your
into my
left side
shoulder.
into your shoulder.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
So what do we know by looking at our little chart? The neck is what connects the thinking to the doing. The neck connects the thinking to the doing. And it's on the left side, so there's something about her ability to receive and just be. Meaning that the direction that you've been looking does not allow you to receive what you need and does not allow you the ability to simply be and be happy with doing nothing. Does that fit?
Yeah.
Does it? Okay. So your homework will be to begin to dialogue with your neck and say, tell me what other ways I can see the world that would bring me joy, that would bring me love, that would bring me resources. Now that hit home, didn't it?
Yeah. And I feel like I've been experiencing so much joy, but almost too much lately. So putting the cramp on it.
Yes. Let's just crunch that right up so that we don't have to be too happy because my
Right.
goodness, what would happen if we were too happy?
Right.
Will
I fall apart.
something come and take you down?
yes.
Yeah, see? Now
Yeah.
see how quickly she got to that?
Yeah.
She will be punished if she's too happy.
Yep.
So she's learning to stop it. And that's what her neck was telling her.
Yeah,
Yay!
for
Okay,
sure.
so I'm going to change your homework. Instead of talking, you don't need
Okay.
to talk to your neck. You already know what your neck is telling you. I would work on why am I afraid to be so happy? Okay?
Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you. Yay! You guys were amazing. Thank you so much. I love this kind of work. I really do. I really don't care about getting up and lecturing or talking. I care about helping people learn things about themselves, but also really helping people to go through these experiences because I feel like the more information we know about ourselves and how to move through the world, the happier we get to be and the more we can move into our collective power. So we're going to go to the offering right now, and then we'll circle up at the end and do a little ceremony.
Kat, thank you so
You're
much.
so welcome. Oh, and I did want to say, I did bring 2 books if anybody wants to buy one. So,
Thank you so much for sharing
You're
from
welcome.
a lifetime of beautiful experience. And thank you to all of you who were willing to be up here and allow us all to learn from your beautiful sharing. So thank you so much. And it is time now for the donation, for the offering. We are a strictly volunteer organization, so it's your willingness to give to us that keeps the lights on and allows us to have wonderful people like Kat here to bless our lives. So, John, thank you, everyone. Pardon?
I feel like flying, flying. I feel like flying. If you think you want to fly, you'll want to leave this world behind. Lose your problems, let your mind be free. Don't wait, don't ask me why. Just spread your wings, aim for the sky. There's a world beyond the one you see. I feel like flying. I feel like flying. I feel like flying like a bird. Keep your head to the light. You will always be flying right. There is nothing, nothing you can't do. Hear
thank you
that
so very much.
voice inside. Find a breeze. Take a
music,
ride. Everybody can learn to fly if they try. I feel like flying. I feel like flying. I feel like.
Feel like flying today. That's terrific. Thank you, Gary. If you please raise your hands and repeat with me. God's perfect love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. Okay, thank you so very much. Next Sunday, 9 a.m. is a healing service, or a sound healing service. And at 10:30, we have Lana and Karina with Heart-Centric Divine Creations. I know that they create pendulums and other things for people to use, so they will likely be informing us on how to tap into that deeper level of intuition inside of us. So we'd love to see you next Sunday, and lots of things to do this week. So thank you for being here. We believe you're part of something bigger and something special here. You're valued and you're special. So we want you to carry that message of hope and encouragement and empowerment this week. And now we'd like to do our closing circle. So if we could gather and create a circle, perhaps, maybe 6 or 7 rows back.
Maybe 3 rows back, I
Or
think.
3
I don't
rows
think we have
back
enough
even.
people to do 6 rows back.
Yeah, let's move it in.
Also, for those of you who don't have my book, I do go into a lot more detail in there of each of the body parts. So, all right, everybody comfortable? So we're going to drop our hands. You're going to put your left palm up and just hold it there. With your right palm, you're going to scan the person on your right until you feel the chakras in your hand click in. And, ooh, there we go. And you should feel a burst of energy when you get it. And energy moves around the circle, comes in on the left side of the body and goes out on the right side of the body. So feel the energy moving around the circle as it comes to you. Pass it through your heart. Give a big squeeze of love and send it out to the right side. And then you can follow it around the circle. Ooh, wow. You can follow it around the circle and you can feel it going through everybody's heart and just getting fuller and fuller. And we're creating a field of love here. A 5th dimensional field of love. It's a vortex. And the beautiful thing about this space is that dome in the top is the perfect place to build vortexes of love because it sends it out through the entire city. So we're going to be building this field of divine love, receiving, joy, happiness, contentment. And as we're flooding our vortex, it's moving up through the roof and out over the cities, bringing that energy to all the people there, helping everybody just get a little smile on their face suddenly for no reason they can think of, but they can feel it. And then we're going to take a big inhale, and on the exhale, you're going to bring your hands in as though you're holding a ball. So inhale, and exhale, and check and see how big your energy ball is. For some people, it's a basketball. For some people, it's a pumpkin. For some people, it's a softball. But you'll feel it. It'll be a certain size of energy. It doesn't matter what size it is. Bigger is not better. And now we're going to breathe from our heart into that ball 3 times deeply. And then we're all going to take a big inhale, and on the exhale, we're going to throw this ball in the center and send it to Maui. Big inhale. Exhale. Thank you all so very much. It was really fun. Have a great day.